morning, good afternoon, good evening, and happy replay, crew. Thank you for joining me on Saintiny Radio, where we talk about real, relevant, and relatable topics. Come experience information you can use to further enrich your life and some benefits for others. I am your host, Frenchie Saintiny, a military veteran, a mom, duchess to my grandgirls, and godmother of over 20 various children. In short, I can and will bring you a vast of my own knowledge and my perception, and bring guests that you, our special viewers, will appreciate. So get your questions ready and enjoy another episode of Saintiny Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and happy replay, crew. Yes, I am Saintiny Radio, Frenchie Saintiny. If you are on the replay, crew, go ahead and type hashtag replay crew. Crew is spelled C-R-U. Thanks for showing up, coming on the replay, sending me messages and things of that sort. Today, we just want to tell you basically that we are not going to be on every week. We're going to come on the second Tuesday of every month, except for next month. We'll probably come on the 7th of June. But the second Tuesday of every month, because of the simple fact, all the things that we have to do to get ready for the show, plus we have other businesses. So we like to get as much information to you as necessary. Hold on one second. Let me invite somebody on here real quick, if you don't mind me just letting somebody know that we are on. And today, actually, I don't believe we forgot to tell her that we were on, but today we are going to talk about fire safety. Yes, we're going to talk about fire safety. Fire safety is near and dear to my heart. I'll tell y'all maybe why later on, but fire safety is really near and dear to my heart. So we're going to talk about what fire safety is. You know that I always give a definition about fire safety, about anything that we're talking about. So the definition of fire safety is a set of practices, according to Wikipedia, okay? A set of practices intended to reduce the destruction caused by fire. Okay, a set of practices, and it's important to know it's a set of practices. Now remember, I am not a fire safety expert, so don't think that I'm a fire safety expert. I'm not the type of person. I wasn't in the fire department or anything like that, but I like to learn things, and one of the things that I did learn was fire safety, okay? So what we're going to do actually is we're going to go ahead and look at this PSA that Saintiny Voices created, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. So give me a second. PSA brought to you by Saintiny Voices. Survive your house fire by prevention. In the U.S. alone, this year there has been over 350,000 house fires. Avoid and survive your house fire. Here are 3 starting steps. Step 1, check your smoke detectors. When you sleep, you lose your sense of smell and, of course, your sight, but not your hearing. Ensure your detectors work. Step 2, place a water bottle with rags under your sinks. Did you know if you place water on a rag, then put it on your face during a fire while crawling to safety, the oxygen from the water can save your life? Step 3, have an exit and gathering strategy. Did you know when there's a fire, families try to return into the flames for their loved ones? By having and practicing your exit and outside gathering places, you can arrive alive with your family. Contact your local fire department for more tips on how to avoid and survive a house fire. Don't get burnt up. PSA brought to you by Saintiny Voices. Yeah, so let's talk about the water and the rag, because that is the one that a lot of people, when I used to tell people about taking water and putting it on a rag, they wouldn't really understand what I was talking about. So let's talk about it. There's a fire, God forbid, there's a fire in your house. And the smoke, that usually people die of smoke inhalation. Yeah, they get burnt, but die of smoke inhalation because of the lack of oxygen. So let's think about it. If we put a bottle of water underneath our sinks or in our areas, whether it's in the bedroom sink or the bedroom cabinet or the bathroom sink and the kitchen sink, and you douse the rag with water and then put it over your face, your nose, and your mouth, what happens is that oxygen from the water seeps into your lungs instead of the carbon monoxide or whatever it is that's out there that's going to kill you with the smoke inhalation. So we suggest to put water, a bottle of water, and as many rags as you have as family. So if you have 3 or 4, family members, you put 3 bottles of water, 3 rags under there, and you practice crawling to that area. You let everybody know that the water down here is for this, the rag down here is for that. It is not for drinking, it is for survival. Okay. The other thing that was spoken about on the PSA is the gathering places. Now, a lot of people don't do this. They need to practice. You need to practice your fire plan. You have to practice your fire plan. So you should gather somewhere safely outside of your home. So what you do, especially if you have, family or whatever else. If you're single, to go outside. But if you have family, you say, okay, if there's a fire, we're going to meet at Mr. Johnson's house, next door, outside of Mr. Johnson's house, not inside, outside of Mr. Johnson's house. Or we're going to meet at the tree that's all the way down the street or whatever. And the reasoning for that is because, of course, if you think your family member's still in the house, you're going to try to get in there. So if you go to that tree or Mr. Johnson's house or whatever else, and your family's not outside, you can go to the fire person or, and tell them, listen, we have a gathering place right here and they're not here. So that alerts the fire individual that, either the child is still in there or, somebody's still in there. So it's really good to practice that. So, you do drills in your house, and you go and you meet in front of whatever you say you want to meet in front, a little further away from your home. Now, there's a couple of places that children usually hide, and fire personnel know that they usually hide in their chest, they hide underneath their beds, or they hide in a closet. You want to encourage children at, I don't know what age you can encourage a child not to do that. You need to teach them how to crawl to safety using the water, the rag, crawl to safety to get out and know where the exits are to get out. My particular home, we have 2 stories. So what I have done, I have put ladders, fire ladders in the bedrooms that's upstairs so that when kids come over or whatever else, they know that they throw those ladders out, it hooks onto the window, and they can climb themselves down to safety. At that point, I can tell the child or whoever's here, listen, after you climb to safety, you go to Mr. Johnson's house, or you go outside to this tree, and that's where I will be. If I am not there, tug on somebody and say, hey, our gathering place is right here. And, my Auntie M, my Titi French, or whatever you call me, Miss Frenchie, whoever I am to you, is not there. So that'll alert them, oh, she's still inside, and they'll go get me. Don't try to go get somebody. You're not a fire person. So just don't do that. Now we're going to talk a little bit about fire extinguishers, but before we talk about a fire extinguisher, I want to show you that, oh, by the way, y'all, there's a fly that's trying to get into the shot. So if you see me slapping something, that's what I'm slapping. I'm not into hurting pets and things like that, but pests are very pesty. So this is my little hand fly swatter. This is our fire plan for this home here. Okay. And we have it in different areas within the house. This is the first floor plan. So our kitchen plan says if there's a fire in the kitchen, you're able to take out if you are able, take the round fire extinguisher, which we'll talk about in a minute, and throw it in the fire and leave out the back door, meet at the barn and call 911. Okay. So we have a barn in the back. So that's our gathering place. Now that's in the kitchen. Now in the master bedroom, we say throw the fire extinguisher if you can in the fire and escape out the back door and meet at the barn. Once again, the gathering place where we're supposed to meet and call 911. If the person's in the office, throw the fire extinguisher in the fire. If you can, escape out the window or the door and meet in the front by the swing across the street. Call 911 because the office is closer to the front door. So the kitchen and the master bedroom is closer to the back door. The office is closer to the front door. So there's a different plan for the office as well as the dining room. The living room, which is in the central portion of the house, we say throw the fire extinguisher in the fire, leave either in the back door, front door, and meet at the barn or the swings in the front because it's in the central area. So you don't know where the fire is going to be. So if the fire is behind you, you don't want to go through the back door if, the fire extinguisher didn't work or, there's still a fire or the fire is too big. So you want to let somebody know, either go out the front door, know where the exit is, either the front door or the back door. And it actually says on our fire plan, I don't know if you can see it, it says every bathroom has a bottle of water with rag. Place water on rag, place on your face, and crawl to the door. And then after we have our don't ever, ever go back into the house for anything or anyone. Tell the fire department about the two dogs, Star and Max, but don't go in there to get them. Don't leave the area with anybody except the neighbor that you already know. So all children here know my neighbors. So if, God forbid, there's a fire here and there's, somebody's child who's here who knows my neighbors, they can't leave with anybody except for the neighbors, of course, the or the police department. Okay. So those are some of the plans that we have for people. What we're going to do is we're going to show you a little video, and it's a very quick video of different types of fire extinguishers. But before we do that, we got to get a word from one of our sponsors. Okay, that's Santini Voices, the color of sounds. We do audio, voice production for audio books, cartoons, commercials, anything. Actually, that PSA was from us, Santini Voices. So we're still on Santini Radio, and what we want to show you is actually just a little bit of information about different types of fire extinguishers. So we're going to go ahead and add that to our stream. See if we can do this. And here we go.
For example, this pictograph indicates that this extinguisher is suitable only for fires involving ordinary combustibles such as wood and paper. As you can see, many fire extinguishers can be used on more than one type or class of fire. The important message here is simply not to use an extinguisher on a class of fire that is not indicated as acceptable on the extinguisher. For example, a water extinguisher, which is only suitable for Class A fires, should never be used on Class C fires, which are fires involving electricity. There are a few simple checks that should be carried out before using any extinguisher. Most extinguishers have a gauge,
Okay.
After saving with customized car
So
insurance from Liberty Mutual, I
what?
customized.
Hold on one second. Okay. So what they were talking about is these different types of fire extinguishers. They only spoke about two fire extinguishers, the A fire extinguisher and the B fire extinguishers. So there's different types of fire extinguishers for different types of uses. So the A fire extinguisher, which is, I might as well just say your hose. You know what I mean? It's just water. It's for paper and things like that, wood like that. So there's different types, and you can go to YouTube and type in, different types of fire extinguishers or different types of fires, because there's different types of fires. One thing you have to understand about the fires, and I always say you should have a class C fire for the different classes of fire, A, B, C, a class C fire in your kitchen. And the reason why you would have a class C fire extinguisher in your kitchen is because all the types of fires are in there. So you got paper, you got wood, you got liquid, you got electrical, you got everything that's in the kitchen. So you would need a larger fire extinguisher if you're into the dry chemical fire extinguishers. You would need a larger fire extinguisher in your kitchen to put out a fire. Whereas in your bedroom, where you have electrical and paper probably in your in your bedroom. Whereas in the kitchen, you have all those combustibles. You shouldn't have too many combustibles in your bedroom. So you should have a larger fire extinguisher. Now, I used to sell halon fire extinguishers. I don't know if anybody knows about it back in the 90s, but now they're not environmentally friendly. So they're doing CO2 fire extinguishers. And the reason why I love the halon fire extinguisher, because it wouldn't leave a mess. Like dry chemical fire extinguishers, after you extinguish a fire, let's just say you're extinguishing a stove fire, after you extinguish it, you might as well throw out your stove, because that dry chemical is eating at your stove. So you got to go buy another fire extinguisher. A new stove. The CO2 fire extinguishers, I'm not sure about that, and contact your local fire department. But those are good as well in the kitchen. Now, the dry chemical fire extinguishers that I remember, you had to shake them every 30 days. And as the video indicated, it's to see the indicator on the fire extinguisher to make sure that it's ready and it's charged to extinguish a fire. It doesn't make sense to have a fire extinguisher in your home and it's not ready to charge to do its job. So it's very important that you check the indicator to make sure that it's charged and ready to go. So, just to try to understand the dry chemical fire extinguisher or the CO2, of course, Max wants to make an appearance, or the CO2 fire extinguisher or the water fire extinguisher. I eliminated all that. And I'm not selling anything. I'm just showing you what we have at the house. We have this thing called the AFO. I guess you can see it right there. The AFO. This is a fire extinguisher, believe it or not. And it puts out A, B, C. I'm not sure about the D fires. But the great advantage, and it talks about the 5 different advantages that are on this fire extinguisher. The great advantage is that you just throw it into the fire. And you can look this up, AFO. They have a whole bunch of YouTube videos and things of that sort. But it's a fire extinguisher ball. So when there's a fire, there's so much panic going on. And sometimes, you don't think, oh, I got to pull this pin and break this off. And I have to go to the base of the fire and I got to go left and right and all this other stuff. And some people are just, they're just frozen. They're like, oh my God, I don't believe, your mind has to get ready to say, oh my God, there's an actual fire. Well, these things, you just pick it up and you throw it in. It's a one-time use boy. It's a one-time use boy. They're not super expensive, but depending on what your budget is, and they last 5 years. So this thing actually says that it expires. I don't know if y'all can see when it says that it expires, but it says that it expires in 2025. So they do expire. So in 2025, I'm going to have to buy a whole bunch more because I have them all around the house. I also have dry chemical fire extinguishers because as a practicing foster mom, I have to have the dry chemical fire extinguishers because they didn't understand these balls that were all over the house. They were like, what is that? I'm like, they're fire extinguishers. And they're like, oh, we never seen anything like that. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I bought dry chemical fire extinguishers for them. And then I have the fireball just in case. So we have both of them here. I don't know if the dry chemical fire extinguisher will work because, as I indicated, they got to be shaken because it's a chemical. It's dry chemical. So think of oil and water. The oil goes down to the bottom, the water's on top. So you don't have time to be shaking it every 30 days. But guess what? Did the store that put the fire extinguisher there, did they shake it? When's the last time they shook it? So I don't want to be the one that pulled on the pin and try to extinguish a fire and there's no extinguisher coming out because it hasn't been shook, or I have to shake it first before I pull the pin and all that. I don't have time for all that. So that's why I bought the ball, and that's also included. That's what we were talking about. If you can extinguish the fire, throw the ball into the fire, and this thing is phenomenal. I didn't put the YouTube out because I don't want people thinking that I'm not sponsoring AFO. I'm not selling AFO. I don't have anything to do with AFO. It's just a product that I like. And I have not tested it because my house is not on fire. And I will be testing it with the bonfires that I have in the back every now and then. I will be testing it to make sure that it actually does what it says that it does. It's just, I said it's not that expensive, but it is expensive just to throw at. So we're also on Clubhouse. So sometimes I'm explaining something that you can see, but because we're on Clubhouse and people can't see us and they can hear us, I like to explain a little bit more. So there are a lot of differences between a whole lot of different fire extinguishers, and it's really important that you talk to your fire personnel, talk to your fire department, know where your fire department is, and just stop by. One thing that I did hear from a fire personnel, if you want to bring them anything, if you want to bring them a lot of stuff, yeah, they like food and all that other stuff, but actually they love chapsticks. I did not know that. They love chapsticks because after a fire, their lips are just so dry that they would love chapsticks. So if you ever want to bring the fire department anything, just bring them like a box of chapsticks or whatever it is, so that they, they're more happy with that. I mean, they like food too, but they're more happy with that than, any food or anything else that you can bring them. So let's talk about the stop, drop, and roll. Okay. We've heard this all our lives. It's probably a little different now because, people are so fancy with their little words and their little TikTok, all that TikTok stuff that they're doing, right? But if there's a fire and it gets on you, the first thing you're going to do is stop because your mind is like, whoa, what the bejeebies is this? It's hard to drop and roll. Okay. So you have to practice makes it perfect. You have to every now and then just stop, drop, and roll for no apparent reason. I know people are going to look at you like you're crazy. I'm not telling you to do it in the supermarket, but stop, drop, and roll, and try to roll not on concrete. Try to roll on something like dirt or something like that so that it'll extinguish the fire if it falls on you. We want you to be safe at all times. I think the last thing that we're going to talk about before we get out of here is our pets. We love our pets. I love Star and Max. Those are my babies and everything else. And I would never want them to be in a fire and they're not able to get out. They do have a doggy door, so they're able to come in and out as they wish. We lock it up at night. So therefore, what we did back in the day, they used to have these like silhouettes that say, there's a pet in here. They still have them. You can go on Amazon. I don't have a picture of them or anything else. I may be able to put it out there. Hold on. Let me see if anybody out here has it. I need to put one on the top floor. Yes. You definitely need to put one on the top floor. Yeah, crawl. And Amy's talking about crawling. And she says she needs to put it on the top floor because, you have to put these everywhere. Yeah, these things are everywhere in my house. The fire plan is everywhere in my house. The fire extinguishers are everywhere in my house, and upstairs are the only places that has ladders. But we're talking about our pets because, we really love our pets and everything else. So there is a silhouette, and I don't know if Amy, if you're able to find that somewhere. There is a silhouette. Back in the day, there used to be like this silhouette that says, children are in here, and you would paste it on the child's window. Because what happens when the fire department comes out, the first thing they do is flash a light onto your house. And I don't know if they flash the light for that sign or flash a light to see where I don't know why they flash the light. But when they're flashing the light, this silhouette shows up, and it'll say, like a child is in this room. So they know to go into that room to look for the child in those places that I said that they usually hide, in their toy shed, in their closet, or under the bed, especially if they haven't been practicing, or even if they do practice the gathering place. Even if they do, sometimes they get scared, and those are the 3 places that they may hide. There may be some more places. Talk to the fire department and they'll tell you. So they also have these silhouettes for pets, and I have them in my windows, and it says 2 pets live here, because I wasn't going to put 2 of those stickers on there. I said 2 pets live here. So if they shine a light, they know that the pets are there. They don't know that they're on the first floor. I mean, I guess they would only know that they're on the first floor. They're not allowed upstairs because of the simple fact I have them all on every window and every door that has a window on the first floor. So they'll know that my pet is in here, and they will attempt to get the pet out. However, if they don't get the pet out, do not go back inside looking for your pet, okay? Do not do that. It's hard. You can't put a rag and water and put it over their nose. You can try if you have a small pet and you can share or anything else. My dogs are too big for me to be carrying them. Hopefully they will come out. So, be careful when it comes to your pets. And, think about it. Think about your fire safety, okay? So basically, before we get out of here, we just want to tell you that fire safety is really near and dear to our hearts, and we want everybody to survive a fire. You can replace things. You can't replace your pets, okay? But you can replace things, you can replace paper, you can replace all that stuff, but we can't replace you. Another little thing that I want to tell y'all is to get a fire safe, okay? A lot of people are selling safes, and people are putting jewelry and stuff like that. I would tell you to get a large fire safe, and that is a place where you can put your pictures. Now, most people have their pictures on their phones, but back in the day, believe it or not, especially if you're young and you're watching this, back in the day, we used to have this thing called a camera, and we used to take pictures, and then we would send them over to Walgreens or wherever, and they would print out the pictures, and then we would put them in a photo album, an actual photo album. It's a book. It opens up, and we have photos in there. I would suggest you to put your beloved pictures in there, your beloved keepsakes in there, things that if there was a fire, they would still be, they would not be damaged either by the fire or by the water from the fire department. So get a large safe, or whatever size safe you need. And that's what we're going to get, because we have a lot of pictures from, from back in the day when we were young, and a couple of things that we have, little keepsakes that we would not want to be burnt up, and it's not covered under insurance. No amount of money is going to get us that stuff back. So in closing, stay safe, be careful. As the video indicated, there's over 350,000 house fires in the U.S. alone. 350,000 house fires. That is a lot of house fires. Yes, Amy, yes. 350,000 house fires a year. So that is just like ridiculous, whether it's, because of somebody else, because of some electrical thing, whatever it is, that's how many house fires they're claiming there is in the United States. So be careful, be kind to yourself, make sure that you practice fire safety, practice your gathering places. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the comment. I'll see if I can get to it. If you have a question on the show, go ahead and put it in the comments, send us an email. And also remember, June 7th is going to be our next time that we're going to get together. June 7th instead of the second week of the month, because we are going to, I don't know if you guys can see my shirt, my Wounded Warrior Project shirt. We are going away with Wounded Warrior for that second week. So we are not going to be here, and I'm not going to stream while I'm gone. So thank you so much for everybody who's showing up. Let me see what kind of comments we have out here. Okay. Amy, yeah. Yes, please have your kids watch the replay because it's super important. They really need to know what fire safety is and how to prevent you from getting burnt up. Okay. So we love you. Y'all take care of yourself. If you have a question about the show or something like that, go ahead and leave us a comment. Y'all take care. Bye.